the space was absolutely beautiful. It was an empty shell when I first got it, and I just saw the vision. But a lot of people might say you're crazy because I walked into that situation. By the time I gave them the deposit, I had $56 left in the account. You know, when I say it was an empty shell, there was no flooring. There was no dryers. There was no running water. The bathrooms were unusable. And but that was one of the happy days of my life when I got the keys.
Welcome back to the Boss Ladies podcast. I'm your host, Hope, and today I got a very, very special guest, one of my best friends, my sister, my homie, my hair lady. Y'all know I've been talking about her for every episode, and finally she's here. Let's give a warm welcome to Kizzie Charles. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
I was going to introduce you as a Wildcat, but I forgot you left and went to Clark. Well, that's okay.
Yes, well, I did do most of schooling at Cookman. I did not leave to go to Clark until my senior year. Finished up there.
So you're still a Wildcat. Yes,
yes,
a Wildcat.
It runs through my blood.
It runs in your blood.
Yeah.
So tell the ladies, tell the people, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your background. Where you went to school, high school, where you grew up.
Well, I am originally from Altamont Springs, born and raised. That Altamont Springs, most people know it as the hood. I grew up in a cul-de-sac that we call Black Bottom.
Wow, okay.
And it was one way in and one way out.
Whoa.
So I grew up with my grandmother, and she had 8 children there. I was literally like her last child.
Okay.
Just because my mother was very young. My mother was 14 when she had me, and so my grandmother kind of stepped in and helped raise me. So I just remember being raised as a whole community.
Nice.
We were everyone that lived in Black Bottom. It wasn't strange for you to go to the neighbor's house and not come home until very late at night, or sometimes either the next day. It's just everyone really took care of each other.
So Black Bottom was the village.
Yes.
So I was going to ask the question, who's your support system?
Yes.
But it's everyone that came from Black Bottom neighborhood.
Yes. Well, and with that, like I said, my mother was very young, but as she did things to improve and better herself and got older, I eventually, when I was in middle school, moved out to be with her and my brother and sister, which took me out of Black Bottom.
Oh, okay.
But my grandmother was still very much hands-on. I was afforded a lot of opportunities because I sung. So that allowed me to be introduced to different things and have the possibility to go to Dr. Phillips High School.
Nice.
Which at that time had just opened. It was a performing arts school.
Okay.
So they used to bus me from wherever we lived to Dr. Phillips. And it just opened up a new life, things that I wasn't really privy to from living in Black Bottom.
Okay.
Different opportunities, travel, learning different techniques and ways of singing, and just being able to learn different parts of Kizzie, even at a young age, not minimizing my capabilities on different things. So it did still take a village,
right? With
my grandmother, my mother, my aunt and uncle, Russell Williams, and also my Aunt Evelyn. I lived with them for some time. My Aunt Brina, which is my mom, one of my mom's sisters, I lived with her for some time.
Family.
So I really was. I was a product of my environment. Everyone pitched in, from, teachers in elementary. Like I said, they lived in Black Bottom. One of the office workers of Altamont Elementary lived in Black Bottom, and I can recount numerous weekends being there with her kids at her house.
Wow.
You know, just I have so many memories of people who even, don't get me wrong, you go through a lot growing up, but I can just recant different people pouring into me from my community.
And that's beautiful, because a lot of us can't say that. And when you're talking about, you know, somebody made Black Bottom, that sounds so dark, but the way you're talking about it, it was special. It helped you to be who you are today. It puts you on the path that a lot of people who come from, as you said, the hood, I come from the hood too, don't get. So you talked a lot about the family and the different people that pushed you along, and you talked about singing. So how do we get to hair? How do we get to hair?
So I actually, like I said, I went to Dr. Phillips High School, where I was able to be a part of concert chorale. I also was over the gospel choir. We started a gospel choir there up under one of my really, really good, and she's a great friend. She was like a mother to me. Also in school, Vicky Felder. She was my 9th grade English teacher. And till this day, she's still in my life.
She's in your life?
Till this day.
Look at that.
Also, another teacher by the name of Miss Williams, who, and this might be very surprising to you, but even with all of the support you have growing up as a child, you don't know you have that support, right? So you're just maneuvering through school. I went to a couple different middle schools, because when I moved back with my mom, we moved around quite a bit. So by the time I got to 7th or 8th grade, they had labeled me as SLD.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Yes. And I can recall going to, when I started at Dr. Phillips, it was a performing arts school. So you would think that's where smart kids are going.
Right.
Well, I went because of my ability to sing. But when I got there, I met Miss Vicky Felder, which was my 9th grade English teacher. And also my SLD teacher, her name was Miss Williams.
Miss Williams.
And I think she's a counselor, or she used to be at Macedonia. But she was my SLD teacher. And I can recall her being an advocate for me, because I didn't have parents that came to the meetings to see, you know, so like I said, my mom was still trying to find herself.
Right.
So I can recall Miss Williams going into the board meeting and when I was a sophomore, and she told them, she said, there's nothing wrong with this child.
All right.
She said, she's sitting in my class and she's making straight A's. We're going to put her in regular classes so she can get a regular degree.
Shout out to Miss Williams.
Yes. So having that advocate for you, and I know we were talking about how did I get to hair from singing, but that was a really big point for me, because college was never in my thoughts because I had been labeled
because of what they labeled you.
Right. So I was just like, as long as I graduate from high school, that'll be a big leap, because no one in my grandmother's immediate kids had done that yet. Yes. So, so moving forward, I thought I was just going to the military. Okay, they've got you out of SOD. You're going to graduate with a regular high school diploma. Maybe you can just get out and go to the military. Well, we had a performance with singing, and Dr. Curtis Ram from Bethune-Cookman was there. And he heard me singing, and he said, what are you doing? You need to be at Bethune-Cookman College. And Dr. Steele needs to hear you. And I was just like, college? What's that?
Me in college?
Right.
Yeah.
What is that? What does that look like? And so he scheduled a tour, and one of my good friends, her mom, they were Caucasian, and I spent a lot of time with them. And she took me to go visit Bethune-Cookman.
Wow.
She sat with me through my interview process with Dr. Steele. Dr. Steele said, you need to be here. You need to be here, and we're going to make sure you don't have a care in the world.
Talk about it.
She walked me through my administration. her name was Miss Windler. She did my financial aid package
For you.
for me.
They wanted you.
She made sure that I got through the acceptance process of going to Cookman, and also made sure every month when she sent Carolyn care packages, she sent me care packages.
That's beautiful.
Yes, and had been in my life since Kyra.
And how old is Kyra now?
Kyra now is 15.
It's a long time.
And it was definitely more stable, like the relationship when we were like kids, both of us, me and Carolyn, going through high school and stuff. And then when I got older, I was pregnant with Jada. I went and visited them in North Carolina, where they were. So it just brings back so many memories of people who have helped that journey.
Yes.
When I did graduate, I had already moved to Atlanta, and I got married. I worked as a teacher right after graduation in DeKalb County. And I did that for about 3 years, and I had my first daughter, Jada. And when I had Jada, there's so much politics behind teaching, and me having the background of being diagnosed with slow learning disability, I really could internalize with the way that we were dealing with the kids.
Okay.
So I did not like the way that it was a stigma, like if the child did not learn at this pace, then you were going to have to give them write up an IEP. I went home every night just drained and felt helpless
because you had experienced and you didn't want these young kids that you can see. There's nothing wrong with them.
I just knew that just because they didn't learn at the pace didn't mean that they were inferior to learning.
Right.
And but I just felt like as a teacher, my hands were tied. On top of being a new mother, I just was like, I can't deal with this and go home to a whining child. Someone else is with my baby while I'm trying to figure out how can I be an effective educator. So I made the decision to be a stay-at-home mom. So after 3 years of teaching in Atlanta, then I stayed home with Jada. She was about 9 months. I stayed home with her until she was 3.5. In that time frame, which I had always did my own hair. My aunt Tina was my stylist until I went to college. And then it was like, what am I gonna do? So I always kind of just did my own hair, and then my girlfriends in college, I would do their hair. So it was just kind of like a trade.
So would you say you learned from Aunt Tina because she was always doing your hair?
Definitely. I learned from her. I was 5 and she was giving me presses and relaxers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So when I got to school, it became like out of necessity because I didn't trust anyone in my hair. So I just took those skills. When I was home with Jada, we would go to mommy-daughter dates to the park, and different mothers would see my hair. They would see her hair. And that's how I started to get clients, and I was like,
wait a minute. So just from you being out and people noticing your skill and how good it was on your and your daughter's hair, that's how you started to get customers? Not even word of mouth. They saw your work.
They saw my work. They saw my work, and Jada was 2, but she had hair down to her bottom.
She still does.
Yes, and my sister, Jacqueline, she had my niece, and so even though I knew how to do hair, I still consulted with her when it came down to the Jada and what to do, because Kiara's hair was down to her bottom. So it would be long nights. I'm like, Jacqueline, what should I do? She's just like, Vaseline. Just put some Vaseline in it and braid it up. We started beads early. So I think the drawing of, they were like, oh my God, her hair is so pretty because it's down to her bottom at 2. And they're like, who did her hair? I'm like, oh, I do her hair and my hair too. And that's really what started the hustle.
Okay. So what did that look like? You got these ladies at the park, these moms checking you out, and you said, I gotta come up with a name. I'm passing out my phone number. How did that snowball into Elena Rose? Like,
it was just I'm a people's person, and I went through all of this going to school feeling like I had something like I wanted to accomplish.
Gotcha.
And then it's like, okay, you have a baby and you home and you speak in baby talk for years and you have no adult interaction.
Right.
And it's like these ladies are like, oh, can you do my hair? And so it became like, oh, now I can mingle.
And socialize with
on
adults.
Top of that, make a little money.
Make some money.
And it just became a piece. It became a piece. I loved creating. If they come with different things.
Yes.
So I literally did that when Jada ended up going to pre-K.
Okay.
They said she needs social skills. Oh. So I was like, I've been home with my baby all this time. Now you tell me I got to send her to school.
Right.
So when when I decided I was going to put her in Loving Grace Christian Academy. Okay. So I did that 3 days a week. So I said, oh, I have to find something to
do.
Yes. And I said, I'm really enjoying this, this venture with hair. So I started to go ahead. That's when I put her in school, I started to further my education with doing hair.
With going to school.
Yes.
Okay.
So I said this was going to be like my career because I loved being able to be free to do hair in the place. Like I was doing hair. I had a whole area in my house in Atlanta to where a built-in salon.
Nice.
So it was like they came, my kid, Kyra and Jada, they were fine. I felt at peace because I'm home with my babies.
In your own space, yeah.
Yes, and I just did hair. What the turning point when it came to Elena Rose Salon was my grandmother and my mother both passed 2 months to the date of each other. My grandmother passed on April 4th. My mom passed on June 4th. And my brother and sister, it was just like, we need you home. And I had a yearning to be home too, because no matter
closer to family.
Yes. Even though I was at a successful point in Atlanta, I was still alone.
Okay.
Me and my kids were alone. My the girl's dad, my ex-husband, he was traveling a lot with his job. So it was me, my son, and the girls.
Right.
And so knowing that, my grandmother's gone, my mom's gone, my brother and sister was just like, we need you home, and I said I just didn't want to come back and not have anything.
That's right.
Have anything to show, not have anything to drive, to accomplish.
You didn't want to just be sitting home waiting for my husband to come back. And nothing wrong with that, because there's plenty of women, but there was something in Kizzie that said, I got to do something.
Exactly, yes. And I knew that it had to be something that I would be able to sustain my family, and which I had been very successful with it. And not many people can say you can work at your passion and be able to sustain your family. So true. And so when I moved back, my brother was like, yeah, you go ahead, you could start the salon. My sister-in-law had just finished beauty school, and he was like, yeah, she could be with you.
Wow.
We can go ahead and make sure this works. And
so pause. Let's bring it back to Black Bottom then. So you came home and your brother and his wife was like, let's do this together.
Right.
Let's see how we can come together once again as family.
Right.
And blossom together.
Right. Yes.
That's beautiful. Not a lot of people have that, especially with siblings.
Yeah. My brother and sister have been, it was just like, what do we need to do to make sure that the three of us don't have to leave each other again?
Oh.
And that was the mission. That was the overall mission. And when we were coming up with a name, I said I wanted to pay homage to both my grandmother and my mom. Yes. So that's how Elena Rose was birthed. Beautiful. Elena is my mother. And Rose is my grandmother.
Okay.
Yes.
Elena Rose. Yes. Now, I met you, I want to say 2013, 2014 through one of your aunts, Katrina, just doing hair. Yes. Right? And I think I needed to get some braids or something. And the very first day we met, it was like we known each other forever. And we've been friends ever since, even though I left and came back like no time passed, right? What I'm getting at by sharing that with everyone is, what is it about you that when women come into your life, they never leave? I mean, you could go. I went away for 5 years and came back, and you just embraced, you know, like, where does that come from? Where does that genuinity, that authenticity, that loyalty, where did you get that from? Because when women come in your life, they don't leave.
You know, Hope, I have been, because I have been asked that question a lot, and I, over the years, I've been asked that question, and I'm always just I'm like, I don't know, you don't have an answer for it, and I have been praying for that, because with that comes some heartache. Sometimes, you know, some people come in your life, and then you're just like, they have brung, you know, more pain than joy. But you can't lose sight of who you are. Gotcha. So I think at this point in my life, the best way I can answer that question is I try to see the absolute best in people until you show me otherwise.
Love it.
I try to be consistent with who I am, consistent with my motives, with my intentions. And I believe that the Lord honors that as long as you stay true to who you are. And I feel like, you know, who I am to the core is a person who gives loves, because I desire love and genuineness back. Amen. So I feel that God just gives me amazing women in my life, that and I also believe he shields you from the ones that come that don't need to
be around,
to be there. So at the stage I am in my life, I think that would be my answer to that.
Lovely.
Just trying to, and it's all growth. Right. I'm learning Kizzie more, and I'm learning why I am the way that I am,
you are.
And being, you know, not apologizing for who I am, but embracing who I am.
It.
Yeah,
I love it, because we talk about that a lot, right? And you're always saying, Hope, just be you and be open. I remember when I got my nails done again for the first time, you were like, yay, you're coming out of your shell. So I want to talk about the salon. Okay, there's so many women that come in and out. How did you build your clientele? Because you were in Georgia and then you moved to Florida. How did you build the clientele here?
So even though I lived in Georgia, because this is home, I would come down very frequently with the kids to visit my sister and my brother. I would do hair when I came. I would do hair when I came. I would do my sister's hair, and before I could get back down here, she's like, I have 2 or 3 clients for you.
Wow.
So when we would come to visit, we would be at her house, and the kids would be having a weekend. I would be doing hair from the time I got here until the time I left. And also going back, my Aunt Tina was kind of like that natural stylist. She did all of that, the pin-up hair. She did the cuts and everything. My Aunt Brina was the braider. Okay. So she did everyone in the hood and around. She did all of the braids.
Got you.
So, but I didn't really tap into the braids until I moved here. And they were like, I was known as the girl who does the rope twist like the Africans in Atlanta.
Nice.
You know, it was like that culture from Atlanta, living there so long, having that experience and seeing the way that they did things. And then when I moved back here, you know, bringing that here. So a lot of people did not know that I did, you know, everything because it was like, hey, we need her braids, we need her twists. So but I just wanted to mention that because our family is packed with stylists.
Nice to know. Well, I already know that, but you all should know that. So
yes,
you come from a family that does hair, and you were going to sing, and you still sing, but you went into the hair. And I'm trying to bring out something I asked you a few months ago when you were doing my hair, and I said, do you ever see yourself get in the shop where you want it and leaving and just showing up? And you said, no. Finish it. I love
doing hair. I do. I do feel that with doing hair, it's kind of like with doing, playing sports. You get to a exit plan. You have to have an exit plan because your hands are not gonna be able to do 6-7 heads a day for forever. So I do see myself getting into a point to where I am, maybe a client a day or so, not in the near future.
Right.
But I don't think that I'll ever leave hair because it is calming for me. It's relaxing. I take pride in creating. That's my sanction. I really do love the smiles it puts on women's faces. Just them, I can feel the shift when they come in and they're down and you're able to lift them just from doing their hair. So to answer your question, yet I don't see myself leaving hair.
And I know you're a natural teacher, so I'm sure you're going to be teaching hair. You're going to be doing hair. It's not something you're ever going to leave. When you opened your first shop, what was that like? What was the struggles and what were the triumphs, if you remember? You've been doing hair so long now. Do you remember opening the first shop?
Yes. So I can say from then till now, there have been a lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of learning. At every step, there is a learning. You will feel that you're supposed to. Well, I'm not going to say feel that you're supposed to. I feel that when God opens a door, that if he is giving you the ability, if he is giving you, even if you don't see the resources, but he's telling you to walk through it, walk through it. Ooh. It is not for everyone else to understand the journey.
Tell them that again.
It is not for everyone else to understand your journey. Your journey was given to you. It is your personal relationship with you and the Father. Amen. The tests that you go through along that journey, they're meant for you. They're not meant for everyone else. When you come out of the process, you're better for it and you're able to help someone else along the way. So no situation that or no opportunity that's been put in front of you is a bad opportunity. If God put it there, you should take advantage of the opportunity, because I say from the first shop I had until now, that's how I have my clientele. My mother and my grandmother's name radiates through Central Florida and beyond.
Beautiful.
Because of stepping out on faith, and believing even when I couldn't see it.
And that's where I'm glad you stopped at that point. Remember when you shared with me a time when you had was it 20,000 square feet? It was a huge building. And it was everything you wanted it to be. Share a little bit of that, because we talked for a while about it. But share a little bit about that process. You found this building. You had to get workers. You had to get the AC fixed. All of this to make your dreams come true. What was that like?
It was rewarding. I look back on it now and I'm like, whoa, God, I see what you did. It was trying. My faith was tested on so many levels, because it's easy to to break when you don't see, when you can't control the narrative, but you blindly walking on faith. You know, the space was absolutely beautiful. It was an empty shell when I first got it, and I just saw the vision. And most people, a lot of people might say you're crazy, because I walked into that situation with having, by the time I gave them the deposit, I had $56 left in the account. You're not talking about getting utilities turned on. You're not talking about, when I say it was an empty shell, there was no flooring. There was no dryers. There was no running water. The bathrooms were unusable. And but that was one of the happy days of my life when I got the keys. And what did I do? I did what I knew that he had given me the gift to do. I booked myself crazy. Me and my clients literally sat in that 2,200 square foot building. We sat in a corner and I did hair in that corner while my stepdad and other contractors that he hired came in and would do the work.
The village again, here they come.
And I didn't lose not one client. They were happy to be going through the process
with you,
with me. We were blessed to have other stylists that also believed in, Miss Amanda, who I love so dearly. She had been doing hair for over 35 years. And she had gotten to the place to where she left a salon that she had for years, and she was over in a suite. That's where we met her. And just had her having that comfortability, and she took a chance and left the suites to come over there with me. And she said God told her that she needed to be with, also another amazing stylist, Nadine, who she's been doing hair for a long time. She has a tremendous gift, and her stepping out on faith and really pushing herself to the limit to get out of her comfort zone. Latiana, my sister-in-law, it was a stylist that believed in the vision. They came over ready to work, and we watch it as it went from a shell to every promise God had ever given me.
All right, now
I saw the vision. I knew that it could happen, and it happened. And for 3 years, it was trying. It was, it was a struggle. It took long nights away from my daughters, away from my family, just to try to continue holding on. And it got to a point to where God was like, what are you holding on to?
So the blessing had turned into a burden.
Yes.
Okay.
But the way we've been trained is just like, the enemy starts to creep into your mind, and you're like, oh, God ain't gonna give you something he gonna take away. Or the naysayers, oh, that was too big for you in the first place. You should have never did it. You just gonna let your business go. And all the while, instead of me listening to the person that gave it to me, to God who has blessed me with it, instead of me listening to what is the next thing, because he told me clear as day when I stopped to listen. Yes, I gave you that. You saw what I could do. Why are you limiting yourself to this? Okay. Just because I did this doesn't mean that's all that's for you.
There you go.
This was your season for this. Now what's next? And it was a shift. And I saw it as a shift. Oh, I'm losing my business. No, the stress that left with that, because like you said, that blessing had became a burden. It had became a burden. God did what he needed to do. And the time that it was. So many people were blessed. So many people were able to experience something that they possibly would not have.
Right.
Because a lot of Caucasian shops that offer that, they wouldn't have walked into it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Feeling like they're not the type of clientele. But to be able to walk in there and get massages, get facials, get your nails done, get your hair done, to be able to have a place to just come and the luxury of it.
Right. It was a spa.
Yes. And so when I just stopped questioning and allowed God to just start listening to him the same way I did to get it, he just opened up so many doors. I was able to still have my business because he showed me that too. Your clientele is where you are.
There you go.
It's not the building.
It's the people.
It's the people. They're gonna be where you are, because that's the ministry. That's the ministry is in your hands. It's not in that building.
Love it.
So
when you went from the 2,200 square feet to, I'm not good on square feet. It's pretty big too, where we are now. You didn't feel slighted. You didn't feel like, I stepped down. So tell a woman who's opening a shop or having to close down a shop that she believed, man, this was my dream. This is what I always wanted to be, but now it's a burden. Share with that woman what happened to you when you moved from 2,200 to this. Tell them about that rent, because yes.
So not only did my rent drop drastically, less than half of what I was paying. I think almost a third, of what I was paying. The peace that I have now, the being more, I have a daughter that just entered college. She's in her first year of college, and another daughter that's in her first year of high school, and being able to be more present for them. Also, with being newly married again, being able to nurture that. Thank you. Being able to nurture that relationship and being that helpmate to my husband. I didn't have those. My personal life struggled because I was so busy trying to build what I said the business was for my family, but my family was struggling because of my absence.
Gotcha.
And God had to do it was a shifting. And I didn't understand why I had to leave, why things were starting to be the way they were with the other building. But when I stopped and I allowed God to do what he needed to do, then I understood, seeing the smiles on my daughter's faces, being able to be more present at their different events, being able to be a wife to my husband and have some time for Kizzie.
Important.
It's very important, because when you're drained and your fuel is gone, you don't have anything to give, or the piece of you that is showing up is not a pleasant one, because you have nothing to give.
Right. And
for years, that's how I operated. I had nothing to give. And you think just because at your core you're a good person, but they see it. Oh God, I got to deal with this, and you're present, so you feel like that's enough.
But you're not there. You're not giving.
You're not there. You're not there because the weight of everything else is on you.
So I'm sorry.
No.
So let me ask you this: you are always still at the shop. You are always working.
Yes.
I've been trying to get you on here forever. So what's different now that you're always working? You have your clientele is always growing.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, what's different? You said before it was stressful, but you're still always in the shop. What's different?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, Hope, it was worse than it is now.
Oh.
I am at the point to where I'm able to try to find balance now. And then, a lot of times my daughter that is in 9th grade, she'll be up at the shop with me. Or my husband will be at work. So it's I'm trying to find balance in that. I think too, because I do have a lot of clients that I'm blessed with, trying to find a balance with that, because, you know, it wasn't like, oh, I was a person that had, you know, 20, 30 clients and then everyone is new.
Right.
I barely am able to take new clients, and that is a blessing.
That's a huge blessing.
So I stay very consistent with my recurring clients. But I am at peace now, and I don't feel that a lot of things, you know, or my family struggles. I feel like I'm able to be a more present with them now.
With them.
Yes.
And as an entrepreneur in the hair industry, what is the biggest challenge that a cosmetologist may have? You may not, because you've been doing it for so long. You have a roster of clients that's been with you for so long. But as an entrepreneur, telling another young lady, if you're going to go into the hair industry, you need to know, what would you tell them? Know your strengths. Be true to yourself. Always be willing to learn on your craft. Never feel like you know it all. Always be willing to further your education, because hair is growing by the minute. And just be, you know, being present at all times. Like I said, being true to yourself. If you have the talent, then the clients are going to come. But being true to yourself, don't lower your expectations of yourself. I'm going to say that again. Don't lower your expectations of yourself. Do not allow people to dictate your business for you, because you will get weary in well-doing. And, you know, so that would be some of the biggest things that I would tell a young person. Just be true to yourself, and really know yourself and your capabilities. Do you need a loan to open up a hair salon? What is the financial aspect of it? Do you need a loan? Can you do it with people? Can you save enough on your own? Like, what does that look like? I want to go open me a shop. I'm going to, what's my steps?
So I did not take a loan. Everything to start my business came from my brother, my stepdad, and my hands.
Your village.
My village. My brother, my sister, my stepdad, and my hands. I will say this. I came into this business just being a eager stylist.
Okay.
Not really knowing anything about the business standpoint. And I believe that was a lot of my downfalls, even when it comes down to managing other stylists. When you are a present owner and your craft, that's your craft. I am a working salon owner. So it gets kind of faded in the business aspect, because you're focusing on making sure your clients are good. You don't want to have to deal with a lot of that. So I could have done a lot of things financially different, but I always looked at things as it needed to be done. What do I need to do? How many heads do I need to do to get it done?
Okay.
So the business aspect, I am just now getting to where I am focusing on, you know, the business side of.
Well, thank you for sharing that honesty.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long have you been in business as a salon owner?
I have been in business for over 20 years now. 20 years now.
Wow. It's a long time, right?
Very long.
And you love what you do.
I love what I do.
When we're talking about hair again, because you do my hair, my locks.
Yes.
And you are a loctician. You're specializing in sister locks.
So sister locks now is a big thing. Like I say, you have to always be willing to continue education because things are always changing. So locks have been around for a very long time. Sister locks now is the new trend.
Right.
So if you are a stylist that is focusing in on everything hair, you have to be willing to go ahead and see what that looks like.
Okay.
So that led me to continuing my education with the certification for sister locks.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to be effective for every style that my clients would like.
So you do everything, though.
I do everything. I specialize in protective styles of any sort. Okay. But I do anything natural, also relaxers, colors, anything that is the client feels that's going to beautify them, we're going to make it happen.
Kizzie can do it.
Yes.
Do you only do black hair?
No. I have Caucasian clients. I have Spanish clients. I have, if they walk in and they want something done, we're going to get it done.
Elena Rose will get it done.
Yes.
So is there anything, I'm not going to ask you what I asked the other ladies, shout out some ladies you want to highlight, because if it wasn't for you, the Boss Ladies podcast wouldn't have started, right? I had the idea, I had the concept, but when I came to you, and I was talking to my friend, you said, girl, and went right into your phone.
Listen, that just jump started. You just like I said, we're here to help each other. So God had already given you and Dwayne the vision. God had already put that there. You just talked to your friend and you got a list of ladies to start with. Amen. It was going to start regardless.
Amen. So a lot of people don't know. But there's something new. We're not going to tell them too much that you're working on. You sing, you own and work in your salon, and you're working on a new project. Just give them a little taste of what's coming with that education thing.
Yes. So, like I said, I went to school for education. So I had the opportunity to go and share my gifts with a school in Tampa. And in that time, I saw how they had a lot of things to elevate their students. Okay. And I didn't see very many of our kids there. And on that long ride to and from Tampa, God just gave me this, he showed me, just like he did with the salon, to where being able to create a space to where our kids would be able to have top tier education, as well as in focusing in on trades at the same time. So if they want to study dance, they would be able to do that while they're in high school. Education. If they want to be an actor, an actress, they would be able to have headshots done. They would be able to go ahead and, start auditioning, and having educators that have been in those fields, that are still working in those fields, to open up the doors for them, to where by the time they graduate from Legacy, that's the name of our school. We can say that now because we done went ahead and got it trademarked. Legacy. But by the time they graduate high school, that they are stepping in rooms as such as Juilliard, or Alvin and Ailey. Or they're auditioning and they have roles on television, just creating that space for them to be able to flourish and not have to wait until they get to college to do that.
Wow.
So that is really what we are working on now.
It's another project. And I know we talk often. I'm actually going to see you Tuesday. Yes. We talk a lot, and you always say, I have to keep going. I can't sit still. But yet you are an entrepreneur who gives each project 100%. So you have Legacy. What's next for Elena Rose?
I really am looking into. I've had a lot of clients like you need your own line of oils, of just different products, and like I said, which we have talked very often about. I'm just stepping into that business side. So when your hands are behind a head for so long, you get a lot of ideas. And like you said, I like to give 100% to everything. So just being able to relieve some time from behind the head and get into that aspect business of building that brand. But we are looking at starting a product line for Elena Rose Salon. So that is coming.
Exactly. So it's so much we can talk about. We could go on and on and on, but we can't.
Right.
Because there's so much about you and what you do with hair that's amazing, right? So I was there one day with, I think I was getting a tighten, and the lady came in and she had very, very thin hair. And no, I was coming to visit you and you were doing her hair. It was very thin. And it was almost like she felt uncomfortable when I first came in, but you touched her on the shoulder, you whispered, I think you said, this is a friend of mine, and she just calmed down. So do you get a lot of clients that come in with hair issues that you have to minister to, you have to calm down? What is that like, having to help a woman that is losing her hair, who lost her hair?
Just creating that reassurance that, at the end of the day, I appreciate you for blessing me with your money, but that's not what it's about for me. And when women feel like you give them that certain level of confidence to know, I'm not going to have you walking out looking any kind of way. And maybe you came in expecting one thing, but if I saw it's not healthy for your hair, I'm going to tell you, this is what this may cause, but we have another alternative. And just being able to build that relationship to where you're trusted. And I have been extremely blessed to where, though, that's why I have the clientele that I have, because they've trusted me and they continue to come. And a lot of times they've been misdiagnosed. And they haven't had anyone to take time to learn their head to, I can tell you at least maybe 15, 20 clients that were told they had alopecia, early signs of alopecia, and now they have a head full of hair.
Because they came to see you.
Correct. Correct. But it's just taking time to really do what you say that you love. And that is, you get to know the person, you get to know the client, you invest the time to get to know their likes, their needs, their wants. And then you create a plan for that specific client.
That's beautiful, because we don't see that a lot anymore. Back in the day, the 8 hours at the salon, you had people that knew your hair. And now it's very important, especially for me, to have someone like you who knows my hair, knows what it can take. And as much as I want to color it, she won't let me do it because she cares so much about my hair.
I let you do it. I just don't let you do it as often as you want.
I want to do it a lot. But what I'm getting at is that, just what you said, you care about the ladies and their hair, and you give them what you need. And we here on the Boss Ladies are very, very happy and proud of what you have been doing for the last 20 years. And we look forward to legacy. We look forward to Elena Rose product line, and we are thanking you so much for coming by. But before we go, do you have anything for me? Any questions, any thoughts, any comments?
Well, I just want to say I'm extremely proud of you. I am extremely proud of you. Like you said, I am your friend, so I know the journey.
Yes,
and I am just proud of you for stepping out on faith. I just, I thank you and Dwayne for what you are doing, for taking the time to highlight, people, the unseen stories. There are a lot of people out here that are making boss moves every day, and you don't get people that take the time to invest, to spotlight them. So I appreciate you, and I just want you both to know that, you know, the blessings are that they're about to pour in. And you know, you just be ready, because you have labored. You have labored, and even in the midst, you're continuing to do exactly what God has called you to do, and the people that you're helping. So get ready. The blessings are about to pour in.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. We're staying true to it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, ladies, we can do whatever we want as long as we keep moving. I'll see you next time on the Boss Ladies Podcast. Later.